Let me ask you something uncomfortable. When you see a stranger on the street, before they speak, before they smile, before you know their name, what does your brain do? It categorizes. That's not evil, that's efficiency. But here's the problem. Some of the categories we run on today weren't designed for human connection. They were designed during one of the most economically violent periods in history. We like to think we're advanced in 2026. We have AI that paints like Van Gogh, rockets that land themselves. But socially, we may still be running a 500-year-old piece of code. Not biology, code. An idea installed during the rise of global trade, colonization, and forced labor. An idea we now call race. And by the end of this video, you might start seeing it less as nature and more as one of the most successful economic narratives ever created.
Join the crew, you can't go wrong.
Let's deal with the science first. Racism is not an instinct. No baby is born ranking skin tones. Bias is learned. Genetically, humans are about 99.9% identical, according to the National Human Genome Research Institute. That remaining 0.1%? It explains visible traits, skin color, hair texture, certain facial features. Skin color itself is an adaptation to geography. Anthropologist Nina G. Jablonski explains that melanin levels evolved in response to ultraviolet radiation. More intense sunlight leads to more melanin for protection. Less sunlight leads to lighter skin to support vitamin D production. Some scientists suggest that certain facial traits may also be linked to long-term environmental adaptation in colder or windier climates. These are biological adjustments, not rankings. In past centuries, some scholars attempted to classify and rank human groups using methods that modern science now considers flawed. Today, the consensus is clear. Race is a social category layered on top of minor biological variation. There is diversity, but there is no genetic hierarchy.
So if race isn't a biological ladder, why did it become one socially? In many cases, racist ideas didn't create exploitation. Exploitation created racist ideas. When economies relied on forced labor, land extraction, and colonial expansion, narratives emerged to justify those systems. It wasn't just prejudice, it was political storytelling used to defend economic structures. Over time, those stories hardened into law. Those laws shaped institutions, and institutions shaped opportunity. Ideas can be invented in 1 century and still affect outcomes 5 centuries later. That's not conspiracy. That's historical momentum.
Now fast forward to modern data. Research referenced by Harvard Kennedy School suggests that racial economic gaps have cost the U.S. economy trillions of dollars over the past few decades. One major financial analysis estimated losses in the range of $16 trillion due to disparities in wages, housing access, education, and investment. That's not just a moral issue. That's an economic inefficiency. Add AI to the equation? Algorithms learn from historical data. If historical systems were unequal, AI trained on that data can unintentionally replicate those patterns, unless carefully audited. A hiring model trained on past workforce data might mirror past imbalances. A healthcare model based on historical spending might underestimate need in communities that previously received less care. Not because engineers are evil, but because data carries history. And when technology scales decisions, it can scale history too. Inequality becomes automated.
Here's where it gets psychological. Modern division isn't always fueled by hate. Often, it's fueled by fear. fear of losing jobs, fear of losing opportunity, fear that if someone else rises, you must fall. That's called zero-sum thinking. But modern economic research consistently shows that inclusive growth expands markets. When more people participate fully in education, housing, and employment, economies tend to grow, not shrink. Systems built on inequality often benefit when people are divided. Because division distracts from structural design. If everyone argues over slices, nobody questions how the pie is baked.
So how do we delete the virus? Not by blaming individuals, not by pretending differences don't exist, but by auditing systems, by asking, what data is this algorithm trained on? What assumptions are built into this policy? Who benefits from this structure? The 99.9% genetic similarity isn't just trivia. It's a biological reminder that the distance between any two humans is incredibly small. The hierarchies layered on top of that similarity? Those are human design choices. And design can be updated.
So next time you see a headline trying to make you afraid of the other, ask yourself, is this really about biology, or is this economics dressed up as identity? The idea of racial hierarchy didn't fall from the sky. It developed in specific historical contexts, solidified over time, and eventually started feeling normal. The question isn't whether we're different. Of course we are. The real question is, are we going to keep running 500-year-old social software, or is it finally time to hit update? And if you made it this far, congratulations, you've officially started debugging the code. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you don't subscribe, I'll just assume you're personally biased against me, which, honestly, feels statistically suspicious. From this point forward, I'm logging it as algorithmic discrimination. Drop a comment below. Are we actually evolving past old divisions, or just upgrading the interface while keeping the same operating system?